Hello and welcome to Knowledge by Nature. In today's video, I'm going to show you what we are doing for geography. Today happens to be Geography Day for us. We do it once a week now, and it's a little bit different than I've done in the past, so I just wanted to share that with you. If this is something that you're interested in, I would ask that you stick around. All right, welcome back. If this is your first time here, I am a homeschool mom to a third grader. We love all things books, homeschool, and sharing our journey with you. And if that is something that interests you, I would love if you consider hitting that subscribe button and following us along, as well as give me that thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Now, we use the Evan Moor Daily Geography, and at the beginning, I was using it daily, as it said. However, I have modified that as our third grade year has went on, and we're just doing this just a little bit differently, and so I thought I would share that with you today. Before we get completely started, I do want to go ahead and just show you real quickly inside here. It is really quick to do one lesson the whole week in one day. So today we're going to be talking about a roadmap of South Dakota. We're going to talk about all of this together. We're going to review the map, and then this is all of the questions that are going to be on there. So as you can see here, it just is not very many at all. What, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and then the challenge. Most of the time we do skip the challenge, but not always. Now, to tie in with our Evan Moor, because we do it once a week, geography we end up spending a little bit more time on. So we will also choose one state. I found this blank US map so that she can color the state that we're doing. We have the state flag, state bird, state flower, the state abbreviation, the state capital, and then the state name. And so each week we choose one state to look at. Now, normally we might have picked South Dakota today, and maybe we will, I'm not sure, because South Dakota was our topic in this geography for today. It doesn't always happen to be a state, but today it did. That could be a really good option to just do today. We just started a read aloud, and it was Emily's Runaway Imagination, and the story is based in Oregon. So as you follow along with us today, you'll see what we decide on, whether we decide on Oregon or whether we decide on South Dakota. Again, this is just something that I created and printed off for us to use. Other resources that we use for this is the Complete Guide to 50 States. This is by Sandy Creek, it says. This is okay. It's not too bad. It does have all 50 states and the regions in it, and it tells you just a little bit about each state. So it's not super extensive, but it does give a few little facts that are really nice as far as what the capital is, the rank, a nickname, but it doesn't have anything as far as there's no state flowers in here usually, and so that's a little bit disappointing. Then I also had this book, which this is the 50 Cities of the U.S., and it is by Wide-Eyed Books. Normally, I love Wide-Eyed Books, but this is not one I would buy again, so I'm definitely not like recommending this, but I just want to show you what we are using. This shows some cities out of the 50 states, and it's not even every single state is represented, which is kind of a bummer. You'll notice Montana doesn't have anything on there, Nebraska doesn't have anything on there, Iowa doesn't have anything. Now, I would think there would be something in that state or those states that we could have represented them by. Then the very, very back of the book, it does have, I guess I would call it honorable mentions. And so any state that didn't get kind of a little shout out has this very, very small section in the back. So again, I wouldn't recommend this, but I bought it and I'm going to use it for right now. But I'm not going to go ahead and buy anything extra for this right now because there's just so much valuable information that can be found on the internet, which is why we have our tablet out. We're going to use the tablet to look up our state flag, our state bird, our state flower. All of that information is going to come from that. And then I also have this one more little freebie that I'm going to share with you about also. So be sure that you stick around as we get started on our geography lesson. All right, let's get started with the geography today. So we've got road map of South Dakota. All right, so here is the road map of South Dakota. If we look at the map key, we see this is the interstate highway. We have U.S. highway. What does the star stand for?
The capital.
What is the capital of South Dakota? Can you find it?
Paris.
Okay, it's actually Pierre. And then what are these little symbols mean? If I find a little circle. Yeah, that's a city. And then we have this dotted line. First, where is the dotted line? Can you point it to me? Yeah, what is the dotted line representing?
State border.
That's right, the state border. So if we look at the dotted line, that is the shape that the state of South Dakota is in. Now, we know that there are cardinal directions. Do you remember what cardinal directions are?
No.
If we look here, we have the compass rose.
Oh,
the
north,
compass.
south, east, west.
That's right, north, south, east, and west. Here we have some vocabulary words. The highway is a main road. Okay, so we can see that there's a few main roads on here. Now there's a lot more roads in South Dakota than we see right here, right? But these are the main roads that we see. So today they're talking about routes. Okay, so a route, or sometimes people say a route, is a way to go from one place to another place. So if I needed to go from Spearfish to Mitchell, I'm going to use this route right here because that looks like the quickest one, right? Now you can take different ways. I could take a bike path, I could take a street, I could take a railroad. What's another route that maybe I could take to get from one spot to another?
So if it's still the same one?
Oh yes, you could take the scenic route. What if we weren't doing anything ground transportation? What is another way we could go?
Fly.
Yeah, we can fly. Very good. So there's all sorts of different routes that we can take. You take a route to the mailbox every day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can make a picture in your mind, and that's called a mental map. And so when we look at maps, we can kind of get an idea of, let's say, okay, well, Spearfish is, in my mind, what direction is Spearfish from Pierre?
West.
Very good. So it's west of Pierre, right? All right. So it says, use your finger to follow Interstate 90 across the state, pointing out the cities along the way. Notice the biggest city. It's Sioux Falls, at the intersection of Interstates 90 and 29. You came to the intersection of what highway?
90.
90 and
The border?
what is this highway?
29.
29. Very good. So what you're going to do is go ahead and get your pencil, finish up these questions for the week, and I'll get us started. All right, while she is doing that, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the site for our state. What state are we going to do today? Do you want to do South Dakota or do you want to do Oregon?
Oregon.
All right, we're going to go with Oregon today. So what I will do is I will go ahead while she's answering these questions over here in the Evan Moore workbook. I'm going to get everything pulled up that I can in my resources, as well as pull up, sometimes there's a site called Homeschool Pop, and a lot of times they will have, I'm sorry, the sun coming through there is causing a horrible glare. Hopefully that's not too annoying for you. But Homeschool Pop has some really, really great informative videos for homeschoolers or anybody just wanting to learn. And so I'm also going to pull that up to see if they happen to have a video on Oregon. Then I will get all the pages pulled up because she will draw the state bird and the state flower and fill out the rest of this. So I'm going to work on that while she is working on her assignment. All right, she has finished up all those questions. Did not take long at all, probably less than 10 minutes for her to complete it all, maybe not even that long. And so I have pulled out our resources here, and we have a Portland, Oregon in our big 50 cities book. And then here is the information on Oregon. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to read this to her while she writes the state name on the sheet that I created, as well as she will write the capital, because both of those are on this sheet, and so she can see it for proper spelling and all of that fun stuff. Oregon Fact File. It was admitted into the Union in 1859. It was the 33rd state to join the United States. Capital is Salem, and that was a city that we had in our read aloud, wasn't it?
Yep.
Rank in size is 9th. Rank in population is the 27th, and it has the nickname of the Beaver State. Now, I wonder why it's nicknamed the Beaver State. Let's look over here. Logging and technology. For many years, Oregon's vast forests were the basis of its economy, producing lumber, paper, plywood, and other products. Portland, the largest city, is a dynamic place known for its cafes and food trucks. So why do you think in this book they chose Portland instead of the capital?
Because it was talking about the biggest cities.
Yeah, so it's talking about the biggest city, and it tells us that
It's also called the Forest State.
it is. Right here, the beaver is the state animal of Oregon, as well as being the source of its nickname. Now she's entered in all that information. We will listen to Homeschool Pop in a little bit. As you can see, I found it right there. Homeschool Pop, they almost always have a fun little information sheet for that. Now I have pulled up the state bird for her. What is the state bird?
Western Meadowlark.
Western Meadowlark, that's right. So right,
Two states have the same exact bird.
you're right. You're going to have to draw it again, aren't you? So here is the spelling for that. So you can write that on the state bird and then choose one of those to draw. So while she's drawing the state bird over there, I will go ahead and continue to read this. Now for a time, she was doing the state flag also. But we got onto some really quite difficult flags to draw. And so I found this printable. I believe it's from the Homeschool Compass. I found it on Pinterest. It was completely free. There is so much. There's like a whole activity book you get. But I printed off all these little flags, and that way she can just cut the flag out and paste it onto her paper, because there's some intense art in some of these flags. So we will just cut out the Oregon and she will paste that on there. But she does like to draw the state flower and the state bird. All right, you said the Forest State. The beautiful Cascade Mountains run north to south through the state, and they include many lakes. The lower Coast Range lies along the coast, and between the two is the fertile Willamette Valley. The mighty Columbia River forms part of the boundary between Oregon and Washington. Okay, so do you know where Oregon is on the map? All the way over on the west, actually. This is Oregon right here. So you'll need to color in the state of Oregon.
I'm going to color it orange, kind of to match what our folder was like.
Oh, okay. To go with our read aloud? Awesome. So we have this also in the front, which gives us a nice big image of the whole United States, which is broke down from the times that they joined, which I think is pretty cool. I do like this book. I said I just kind of liked it, but I do like it. I just wish it had the state flowers in there, and then I wouldn't need anything else. This would just be perfect, but it's good nonetheless. All right, so now that you have located Oregon on your map, it says right here that the mighty Columbia River forms part of the boundary between Oregon and Washington. Part of the state is made up of a temperate rainforest. We've been talking about rainforest in sassafras, haven't we?
Mm-hmm.
So right here we have Washington up here, and Oregon is down here. So that means the Columbia River is along the boundary of those two states right there. Look at this. Crater Lake was formed in the remains of an ancient volcano. It is the deepest lake in the United States. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Oregon was a popular destination for settlers moving west who often traveled in covered wagons. Anybody ever play the Oregon Trail? Drop me a note down below. Now that I have read all of this one, she's still over here working on her little bird, state bird, which is the western meadowlark. I will just go through here and see if I find anything super interesting that I would want to share with her. And so we have Portland. We found out that that is what? The biggest what in Oregon?
The biggest city.
The biggest city.
Dog.
Oh, what is this dog? Let's see here. Okay. Oh, look at here. Beverly Cleary Sculpture Garden. This is our book. That's the author from our book. Find sculptures of Ramona, Henry, and Risby the dog here. The author of the Ramona books set them on Klickitat Street because she loved the name. So right there, that's what that dog is representing. That's neat. All right, so we should have something. Usually they have like famous authors, like with little pictures, but I'm not seeing Beverly Cleary on here anywhere. Maybe I'm just completely missing it. But usually it would have like a little, you know, like the big author, someone that you would really know, they would have on here, but I don't see it.
Do you look up there?
I did. We've got Brian Grant was a former Portland Blazers basketball star. He founded a charity to raise awareness of Parkinson's disease. We have Douglas Engelbart, Portland born, the inventor of the computer mouse, and was awarded the National Medal of Technology. While I'm not going to read everything on this, there is some pretty humorous things on there also.
What is that?
What is this one? It says Portland Fish Market. Oregon boasts 5 types of salmon. Ooh, yum. Then they always have like a day in Portland. So if you were going to spend a whole day in Portland, maybe start here. And this is some really fun things that you could do during the whole day. So again, it's kind of cool, but I wouldn't purchase it again just because I think it's lacking.
What is that kangaroo?
Just 1 minute. I just think it's lacking, especially that we're not representing all 50 states. I think it's a shame that it's called the 50 cities of the U.S., and we couldn't find something interesting in a few of these to just make it a complete thing. So I am disappointed in that, but it's big. It is very pretty, and it's got some cool information in it. I just wish it had everybody represented in it. So that was kind of a bummer that every state wasn't a part of it. Let's see. Okay, what is this guy? That's what you want to know? I think, okay, so it's happenings from downtown. And if you pop up here, I think this goes with maybe ugly sweater art. Every winter, yarn bombers knit colorful sweaters from the for the downtown animal statues. And so there's a bunch of statues downtown, and apparently they knitted a hat for one of them, and they do that every year. Welcome to the City of Roses. This buzzing, creative city is by far the largest city in Oregon. It's about 4 times bigger than Salem, the state's capital. It is the only U.S. city to have been named by a coin toss. If the coin had landed the other way up, Portland would have been known as Boston, Oregon. So that's pretty cool. I mean, there are some really neat things in here. So maybe I would buy it again. I don't know. All right, so I'll just leave this open in case she wants to look at it, because sometimes there's little fun games in the back. It says, can you find? And some of these things are hidden for her to find. So she has finished her beautiful Western Meadowlark, and now I'm gonna look up the state flower for her. All right, now I have found the state flower, which is the Oregon grape. What we'll do now is I'm gonna go ahead and have her cut out the flag and glue that to the sheet while we watch the Oregon for Kids, and it says it's 7 minutes long. All right, so she is drawing the Oregon grape right now, and then we will be all done. What was one really, really interesting fact that you learned from Homeschool Pop about the state of Oregon?
That they have the only double-sided flag.
That's right. They have a different image on the back side of the flag, don't they? And what is on the back side of the flag?
A beaver.
Why did they put a beaver on there?
Because that's like kind of like their state animal.
That's right. So she's finishing this up. We did the reading out of the 50 states. We did a whole week's worth out of daily geography with Evan Moor. We read what we found interesting out of our 50 cities book. She has completed her sheet over here with the exception of coloring the flower. And we do all of this once a week, and it takes anywhere between 30 and 45 minutes usually. If we decided to go on a rabbit trail of something we saw that was really interesting, we could go further. But it's really awesome being able to sit down, carve out a chunk of time, and complete this kind of geography lesson. And I feel like we're accomplishing something, and we're learning something, and we're having fun. So we love doing geography like this. Do you like it like that?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So again, there's really no rhyme or reason to our choosing of the state. It's just what is interesting that day. And because we just started a read aloud that was based in Oregon, we chose Oregon today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Consider hitting that subscribe button so you can follow along with us on our journey. See you in my next one. Bye.